So, we have ourselves even more trade updates, baby. Hell yeah! First it was Pierre LeBrun, then it was Frank Saravalli, then it was Darren Dreger, and now yesterday, during the Canadiens and the Blues game, we had ourselves the Saturday night headlines. Elliotte Friedman segment, baby, where he goes out there and gives some of the newest and latest scoops, the hottest pieces of news on the market to us NHL fans who are blessed to see Friedge on our television screens. And yesterday, in the second period intermission of Montreal-St. Louis, we did see ourselves one of these new updates. Now, I'll leave a link in the description to the Twitter video of the actual Elliotte Friedman segment. They're usually posted online. We'll find a way to get it in there, but you should be seeing it on the screen at this moment, and the link is going to be in the description. But of course, this is just a video, so instead, to give us the scoop, we're going over onto NHL Watcher's Twitter account because they tweeted this out. Friedman on NHL Headline says, not only are the Montreal Canadiens looking for defensive help, but they are also looking for a forward with edge, but will not make a deal that interferes with their long-term plan. Now, what does this mean? Well, it's a pretty basic update. It's just saying that the Montreal Canadiens are not only looking for a defenseman, validating the Pierre LeBrun, Frank Saravalli, and Darren Dreger reports, but it goes over how the Habs are interested in grabbing themselves another forward. Now, Friedman was pretty clear. He doesn't say that the Canadiens are looking for a scorer or somebody to replace Patrik Laine in that production that they're missing out on with him. But instead, they want a guy with a little bit of that physical edge, who has a little bit of bite, and a guy whose acquisition will not mortgage the future. A guy who will not take a first-round pick and another prospect like Michael Hage or something in order to acquire in some sort of a trade. Probably just a low-cost kind of an ad. Maybe a player whom, if you trade for him, you're only really giving up a fourth-round pick or a third. Not anything significant here that would be contributing to the Canadiens' rebuild. But also that player has to have that kind of bite. Think maybe Raphael Harvey-Pinard, except not him because of course he's injured. There are a few guys that the Montreal Canadiens could be interested in if you just go by that description. A lot of people are tossing out different names here, even if you scroll down on the NHL Watcher tweet. David Kampf, you got Cal Clutterbuck, Evander Kane, a few other guys are coming out here in this discussion. But what I wanted to do was kind of go over the nuance here. Because yes, while it is true the Montreal Canadiens could maybe add themselves a Cal Clutterbuck, for example, my question is, if you're going to commit to this sort of a rebuild, if you're not really intending for your team to win as many games in 2024, 2025, if you want to give yourselves a shot at James Higgins, the first overall projected pick in this year's draft, then why not give that opportunity to somebody that's already in the system and who is going to contribute to that long-term plan? I'm thinking about the AHL, I'm thinking about the Laval Rocket, and I'm thinking, hey, wait a minute, isn't Luke Tuch right there doing his thing? Isn't Florian Jacquet also a part of the system? Don't the Canadiens have access to guys who already play with some sort of a physical edge without even needing to make a trade or something? You just got to make a call-up. Now, I get it. You could definitely say that for Montreal, Luke Tuch, Florian Jacquet, these guys might not have themselves the capacity of playing an NHL game or an NHL role at this point in time. Maybe there is some development that still needs to be gone through with these guys before they're full 82-game NHL players, and that's very fair. But would it not be also fair to maybe give them a cup of coffee and just give them a tryout here, at least while Raphael Harvey-Pinard is still recovering? Now, I get it. You could say, hey, Luke Tuch isn't really producing too much in the AHL right now. What kind of message does it send if that kind of a guy gets an immediate NHL role? Same thing you could say for Florian Jacquet, who has fewer points than Luke Tuch does. If you wanted to go homegrown and local, you just wanted to go with what's in your backyard, then there already are some guys that exist that could be that kind of a profile. But if the Canadiens are a little bit more attentive to stay competitive, build off of the victory from yesterday's St. Louis Blues game, they want to be in a spot where they can start to slowly edge themselves into the wildcard hunt, then okay, I can understand why they would want to make a trade or get somebody that is already an NHL player who is not gonna, at the very least, bring the team down. Because while it's true that Luke Tuch and Florian Xhekaj can bring that physical edge that the Canadiens are looking for, everything else in their games needs a lot of work, and it would need to be adjusted on the fly very quickly in order for them to keep on providing positive value for the team. Especially if these guys are projected to playing maybe a middle six kind of role. I say middle six and not necessarily bottom six because who knows what's going on with the Canadiens in that second line, especially now with Slafkovsky injured too. Slafkovsky, Line A, a lot of guys are rotating around the forward core that we didn't really expect. But ultimately, if the Canadiens are impatient and they don't want to wait for Raphael Harvey-Pinard, maybe there's some sort of a Cal Clutterbuck thing that can go on here. I don't know. I'm just tossing his name out there because he's one of the easier ones to think about getting some movement. A guy like, let's say, David Kampf in Toronto, that's a lot more difficult, and I don't think the Canadiens would be interested in making too many moves to help out Toronto in that case. But either way, you can let me know your thoughts in the comments section below about some potential names out there too. Friedman's talking not just about the forward, but also the D-man. So it seems like the Montreal Canadiens, at this early stage in the season, are very intentionally scouring the trade market for just about anybody. I mean, the Habs aren't necessarily the worst team in the league right now, and they're coming off of a pretty strong victory against St. Louis yesterday. So who knows what the capacity is internally for the Montreal Canadiens, what their wishes are for the team, how good they want the team to be in this stage of the 24-25 season. Because if they're going to want to start winning games, then okay, maybe they just got to build off of the win yesterday and hopefully see some good progress out of Slafkovsky when he returns. Maybe they get that extra guy. Maybe they end up scratching some other players. They move guys around. There already are some physical dudes on the team. Pezzetta, Anderson, Gallagher, of course. But adding on to that, I guess Marty St. Louis just wants his hard forecheckers, right? I think that makes the most sense out of all the other conclusions you can build off the Montreal Canadiens roster structure right now. So if you're a Habs fan, let me know your thoughts in the comments section below about the Elliotte Friedman Saturday night headlines. What are your thoughts on the Canadiens officially looking for a defenseman, as well as a forward with edge? Not Adam Copeland, Christian, WWE Tag Team Championship kind of material edge, but edge in their hockey gameplay. The video is going to be linked in the description if you want to see more about headlines. There are some other things talked about. There was the Elias Pettersson conversation, and there was the Brad Marchand conversation with the Bees as well. So Friedman kind of doing his part in touching over a lot of the roles here around the NHL. But either way, thoughts in the comment section below. I hope you enjoyed this video. And bye.